I'm Megan Waldrop, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast, an extension of an online community for partners to connect and feel less alone. Our podcast invites fishermen, family, friends, and supporters of the industry to learn, laugh, vent, and hear stories about this incredibly unique way of life. What do you say? Let's dive in. Hey partners, today we're talking about a controversial topic in our community and one that brings up lots of emotions from partners of commercial fishermen and fishermen, female fishermen alike. And it's the season. This happens every summer, and believe me, it's happened to me too. It's about when your partner is fishing with a female fisherman. They hired a female deckhand on board. Maybe they hired them. They're the captain. They hired a female deckhand, or there is a female working on the boat. And this can bring up lots of feels for many reasons. A lot of it is the unknown because we just go there. We immediately go there as partners. A lot of us do. And it's normal to feel insecure, but it's the way that we can react to it is how it's going to change the game for all of us. And I'm going to get into many points. This is not to bash female fishermen, by the way. Actually, female fishermen, we love them. We have female fishermen in our community, and also like, go girl, get you that fish, go get your money, go work hard, you do your thing. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to be in a male dominated industry. So I just want to put that out there. But to stick to the point here, I want to talk about the insecurities that can arise because many of us have been there, and it's not weird to feel that way. It sucks to feel that way. You know, a lot of it's unwarranted, and I'm just going to dive into DMs that I've received, letters that I've received, and also a personal experience of mine to show what this can look like. And, let's just get into it. So I just got a DM that said, OMG, your latest post could not have come at a better time. My fisherman's captain hired a fisher lady this year, and we just found out. I respect his judgment. I'm sure she's far more capable than many, many older crewmates he's had. And I'm confident in my relationship, and I trust my partner completely, and I know she's there to work. However, I'm really struggling applying reason to the sinking feeling that my partner is spending every day with someone who he could potentially be attracted to, develop feelings for, or vice versa. I feel sick, and I can't apply logic to this deep worry and anxiety I have. I trust him, but it is so triggering for me as well. I'm really struggling. I've gotten several messages like this recently. And so this is another one I got several years ago, a letter from a POCF. And I just, if you're new to the industry, this really happens a lot. I feel like whenever you're dating a fisherman, maybe too when you're married. I don't know. This could happen at any point when you're dating a fisherman or being with a fisherman, because you think about, oh, wait, there's a woman that gets to live in small quarters with my fisherman. And it's not me. That's your first thing. You're like, wait, why does that person get to be with my fisherman? Even though you're not thinking, oh, this person's trying to make a living, It's not rational because we've been ingrained in through the media and movies and TV shows and women pitting against women. Like, this is just unnecessary world that we live in. And I think personally that, we're pitted against each other because we're effing amazing and powerful. And oh my God, what would it be like if we could all uplift each other and take over? Because that's what actually needs to happen, women running the world. Because, oh man, I'm just like going off on a tangent. But anyway, I'm going to read another letter to show that, you're not alone in your feelings, but there's ways to work through it. And I also have solutions on how we can work through it. Okay. So this is another woman who said, I've been with my fisherman for about 1 year and 3 months. He claims that the boat he works on is an all-male crew as well. But just yesterday, I heard a female's voice through the sat phone. She sounded like she was having fun and laughing with the boys. And then she said, I heard how female fishermen can be. I don't know what she's heard, and I don't understand that. That is what she said. I am not saying this is how it is. All right. She said, I heard how female fishermen can be. I don't know what that means. I'm sure you can imagine how my mind is and how much worrying I've been doing since then. Am I wrong for feeling like this? I trust him. I love this man with all my heart, and I just want him home. But my emotions are all wacky. And when his first trip is done, he plans on going back to end the season, but it surprises me with something as well. Sorry, she said something about, anyway, I think he's going back and forth. And so she's still hurting when he's gone. I feel like I am empty. I'm just walking around with a so-called smile on my face. I'm scared to see him leave again. I read your stories and your interactions, and all I can say is I appreciate your website. I'm really glad that she said I'd probably be out of my mind without it. No, I'm stoked for that because I want people to feel comforted. All right, so I'm going to share my experience, and there's a little bit of warrant from my experience because I've known a fishing couple who met on a boat and they were dating other people and they fell in love and now they have a family. However, both of their relationships that they were in were like on the way out. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Like shit does happen, which is something that I said to Chris. So here's a post that I wrote on Instagram several years ago. I said, when Chris said he was interviewing a few deckhands for the spiny lobster season in Santa Barbara, California, and one happened to be a female. At first, I didn't sweat it. What's the point of getting worked up over something that may not happen? So being supportive, because you have to as a partner, I said, whoever will do the best job, I fully support you. And I didn't think it would go any further. But when he mentioned he wanted to hire her, the first words out of my mouth were, is she hot? In 1 second, my support transformed me into the insecure woman I thought I no longer was. He assured me that if hiring her was going to affect our relationship, he'd find someone else. I couldn't jeopardize his career because of my shortcomings. Honestly, I don't think I would have done that if the situation was reversed. So, for a full afternoon, probably more, I wigged and wondered if this was the end. If this was the beginning of the end, that all the work and time we put into our relationship could end with a hired woman deckhand. A deckhand he'd sleep in the same cabin with several nights a week. A woman who would spend more time with him than I would for the next 6 months. I started to question everything until I forced myself to stop. The next day I told him how I felt, but I genuinely hoped that she was the best person for the job. And she was. She had experience, and that's why he wanted to hire her. I said, I want you to succeed, I said with my full heart, and I did. And then I said, it doesn't matter whether or not you find her sexually attractive, because shit happens and people break up and get together in all kinds of amazing and fucked up ways. And if you happen to fall in love with her or anyone else going forward, I released you. I released you. My past broken heart told me it was the only thing to do, and he was stunned. Chris was like, what the hell are you talking about? He did not agree with anything I was saying. But we talked through it and we worked it out like we normally do, and all is good, and still is, and as dramatic as this may seem, it was the moment I needed to detach myself from anxiety and worry and self-inflicted pain that my insecurities held onto our relationship. It's so funny how you can feel strong in one moment, then weak again in another, then strong again. And I learned so much from my experience with Emily. And Emily Ekbaum, shout out, girl. I appreciate you. Once I got to know Emily, I'm like, why am I feeling insecure? Like, my relationship is very strong. And I mean, yes, I can see why I was feeling insecure because there was a woman on a boat with my fisherman. However, I meet Emily and I'm like, man, what would it be like to be Emily right now? Like, to be on a boat with a dude that you don't know. And then to make matters worse, if I felt resentment towards her for absolutely no reason because of my own insecurity. I mean, I can't even imagine what that would feel like. So I actually wrote about Emily. I interviewed her and she's just so sweet. I wish her the best. I think she is still fishing. She's up in Bristol Bay maybe right now. She's getting married. So congrats, girl. I'm going to link that information in the show notes. But the thing was, like I mentioned before, like shit does happen. People fall in love. But if your relationship like was fine before they left, no, like everything's cool. Like we can't just like start spiraling because of that. It's really how our insecurities. Like, why do we feel this way? Did something happen in the past to us that now we're being triggered? Did something happen within our families that happened like this, that we're being triggered? I actually sat down and thought to myself, like, what if Chris does meet someone else? How would I feel? And of course, I would be devastated and heartbroken for a long time, but eventually I'd be okay. It wouldn't kill me. And as much as I hope it won't happen, I'd survive. And, so I get it. This is where the ultimate relationship test comes in. It's the trust. There's a reason, if you think he's being unfaithful, like, has it happened before? That's the thing. Like, you don't want to talk to your fisherman and then accuse them if they're not giving you a reason to question. At the end of the day, that phrase, oh my gosh, at the end of the day. But seriously, they're working their effing butts off. Like, they go up there to work. Fishermen go to work. They want to get in and get out. They want to get that seasonal work and they want to move on with their lives and move on with another season or another job. And that's just how it is, female or men alike. And I just, we got to break this insecurity that we have. We have to genuinely believe that they're there for us as we are for them. Because honestly, they need to trust that we're doing okay and that we're not moving on with anybody else. Hello, like, they're on a boat, but we have the whole country wherever we are. Okay. So it goes two ways, the trust factor. And eventually these insecure feelings will dissolve. But, we have to talk about it. Be like, I'm feeling this way. I don't know why. You don't give me a reason to, or maybe if they do, you can talk about it then. But these are those hard conversations that build strong relationships. And this is why partners of commercial fishermen generally have really amazing relationships with their fishermen, because we're forced to talk about issues like infidelity, money, safety, raising children, things like that. What are we going to do in the future? Building our own inner worlds. That's what's going to help build our strong relationships. It's the trust and the communication is the ultimate foundations. I know it's cliche, but cliche for a reason. So yeah, we got to break the stigmas of competition with other women. And, I actually I posted that letter on, or part of it, to a Facebook or to Instagram. And a commercial fishing woman, marine engineer, wrote in and she said, "That is just so effing rude. Yeah, I think you are wrong for feeling like that. Women should be supporting each other and lifting each other up to break these stigmas." Quote, "You heard about fishing women." She's quoting the woman's letter. "Some of us are the problem and some of us are not." Okay, so yeah, she's pissed. Like, I get it. I mean, if someone said, something you heard about partners of commercial fishermen, I'm sure we would get a little ruffled too. But it's funny because, she mentions, yeah, women should be supporting each other. Of course, I believe that same way. And no one's wrong for feeling about anything. It's just how we're reacting. And I post letters like blatantly, like how they're sent to me, because I want people to see what it's really like in real time, like how people are wigging out and like these are kind of the emotions that we go through. But the fact she said some of us are the problem and some of us are not, I'm like, okay, yeah, but that's like any relationship ever in any field, Ours just happens to be a little different because, well, they're working side by side 24 hours a day, so that's where I feel like we start to spiral. But we can't put female fishermen are not the enemy. It's our own insecurities and not feeling like we're being connected to our partner. Maybe, and you know what? If you have a conversation with your fisherman and it doesn't go well and then the phone call drops, because that happens, and I've been there and so many of us have been there, that's not a reason for someone to jump ship out of the relationship, to jump relationship. Like, so if you're listening to this and be like, oh my God, my partner and I just had an argument about XYZ, don't even start to spiral. That has nothing to do with it. Like, no. I just want to think about what it's like for female fishermen. Honestly, whenever I was feeling insecure about Emily, I was thinking, man, honestly, I'm really glad that she's with someone who's a gentleman and someone who's amazing, like my partner, my boyfriend, Chris. Now he's my husband. But yeah, I'm glad she's with somebody that she doesn't feel like she's being sexually harassed, because that's a thing. Female fishermen get sexually harassed on boats, and it makes me want to scream. Yeah, just imagine what they must go through. And if they're on a boat with your partner, you're like, well, I'm glad she's at least with one person that respects women. Maybe the whole crew does, and maybe they're all great, but like maybe we teach our fishermen to stand up for women if they see that sexual harassment's going down. Like maybe that's what we talk about. Also, why do we feel insecure? Write it down. Why do you feel insecure? Let's talk about it with our fishermen. Like this is what relationships are built on. What, if we're just making shiz up and they're like, wait, why are you even going there? They're going to be offended. Like, can you imagine if they were harping on us? Like, why did you talk to that guy at the bar? I'd be like, what the hell is going on? You don't trust me? Like, what's happening? I would really be offended as well. So yeah, our jobs, our partners and our relationships are on boats that are small, but at the same time, these people are working their freaking butts off. Barely time to even socialize. I mean, they're just getting after it. Fish guts and blood and all that, all that goodness. But our fishermen just want to be with us. They just want to come home to us, and that's a beautiful thing. And I love it. So female fishermen aren't the enemy. It's our own insecurities. And maybe if our relationship isn't going well, maybe the relationship does feel like it's going on the outs. And that sucks. And I hate that. But at the same time, relationships do end for reasons that are going to be more supportive for you in the long run. But only if there's, if you would know, I feel like it's not just, I'm feeling insecure about this. But if there's like deep seated issues, and challenges in your relationship and you want to make it work, then yeah, let's try relationship counseling when you get back. Or maybe it's just not the relationship for you, because guess what? Yeah, we're partners of commercial fishermen, but I want you to find what's best for you in your relationship, or maybe it's not in the relationship, like maybe being alone is better. And being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Let's just say that. Okay. But I want your relationship to work no matter what, like whether it's, relationships take a lot of work. Okay. We know this. That's where the endless communication, like when you feel like, oh my God, like Chris and I, sometimes we feel like we talk ad nauseum about certain stuff, and it's just because that's how it is. Like we're going to have to talk through it, or else it's going to suck really bad. So yeah, we do talk about things sometimes when we don't want to, and we have to, be respectful about it, even though it can be really hard sometimes whenever you're feeling really triggered. But what matters most is is you. Like I'm here for you. I'm here to support partners of commercial fishermen. When you feel empowered, when you feel confident, that's when your relationship thrives, because your relationship with yourself is thriving. That's when partners, when your fishermen feel supported, when you feel supported. Okay. Whether that's having those conversations with them. Like I said, I have those conversation prompts in the new survival guide, which is super awesome. Helpful for any type of relationship, whether it's long distance, whether it's a day-to-day thing, whether it's them trying to get back into reintegrating back into the home, because that's challenging as well. But what I'm trying to say is, what do you want out of a relationship? That's the most important thing. Let's reevaluate our relationships right now. Does your relationship bring you joy? And it doesn't have to bring you joy all the time. You don't have to feel like, oh, I'm in la la land. That's not even freaking possible. All right. But do you feel like happy and thankful and grateful for your partner? Do you feel, if you don't, or you don't feel like you're feeling appreciated, write down why you feel that way, and pick a time that's not on the phone when the phone call can drop, and it's not after a long day at work when they come home. But pick a time to really discuss those feelings, because, your partner loves you. Your partner wants the best for you, as you do for them. And relationships are up and down. I mean, hello, I think we know that. Like they go through flows, because we're growing. We're all changing. We're all learning new things and learning new things about ourselves, and trying to find ways to adjust to that as we get older. And And that's going to happen, God willing, for the rest of our lives. And to be able to discuss that is most important, because you're dedicating your life to this person to actually help not only love, but to serve them as they will serve you, like even just doing the daily household chores, like cooking for them, or them cooking for you, or them doing laundry, or helping clean the house, or doing house projects. I mean, this is the person that you've chosen to spend your life with. So I regularly check in with myself and with our relationship. I feel like I do it in real time, honestly, but with Chris and I. But if things are feeling off, like, we don't wait days to discuss it. I mean, if we're next to each other, if he's like long distance and something happened before he left, which has happened before, like we definitely left where he went to Bristol Bay and it was not great. And that sucked big time. And I know a lot of it had to do with misplaced emotions for both of us about him leaving, but we didn't leave on great notes sometimes, and that sucks balls. And but that also, every single time that happened, I reevaluated and I said, what do I want? What do I want for my life? What do I want out of a relationship? We come back together, we talk about it, and we want to be together. So we figure out a way to make that work for both of us. We make adjustments. We say we're sorry. We say we're going to work on it, and we actually work on it. You don't just say, yeah, I'm trying. And you're like, cool. But like, no, you have to show each other that you're actually putting forth effort, because otherwise, what the hell are we doing? I mean, seriously, especially as partners of commercial fishermen. Geez, like, all of the freaking invisible labor, the physical responsibilities, and the emotional toll, like, you deserve to be heard, okay? You deserve to have someone respect your feelings because of all the things that we put forth into our relationship. We go above and beyond that of a typical relationship. So, back yourself up, and do it in a way that doesn't feel defensive, because that's when people stop listening. Like, if someone's being really defensive about their feelings, it feels like they're attacking, and if you want to be heard, you have to say it in a way that feels controlled, and have to say it in a way that you've actually like analyzed your feelings, in a sense. Like, I love to journal. I write things down. You can even bullet point stuff. You're like, okay, why do I feel this way? What am I contributing to make this feeling? Like, why am I contributing, or excuse me, why do I feel this way? What actions have made me feel this way? What am I contributing to this instance that maybe make me feel this way? Is it because I'm not speaking up for myself? Is it because I'm trying to people please and I just haven't said anything in the past, and now like things have really been bubbling up? Is it because I, no longer want to accept this kind of, I don't know, either partnership, friendship type of love? Like, I do this with my friendships too. It's like, okay, I'm 42 years old. Who do I actually really want to spend time with? Because my time is precious. And that goes with our partners too. Like, why do we want to be with this person? Are we feeling like we're getting, it's a mutual partnership here? Yeah, man, I just went off on that. I think the point is that the feeling of the female fisherman, and it's not even the female fisherman. It's like, we feel this way with other women maybe sometimes, and we have to figure out what reasons are we feeling this way? Write down why you're feeling this way. Is it unwarranted? If they've given me any reason to, then no, don't worry about it. You can bring it up to them later, but I wouldn't call them on the phone and be like, what the hell? There's a woman on the boat. But actually, okay, side story. This is another one. I remember Chris's, I think it was his second season that we were together. And he was in Bristol Bay, and we had like 2 minutes to talk, because that's how it is. And he was like, yeah, he's like, oh yeah. And there was a woman on board and she was taking photos and stuff. I was like, what? I was like, who is this chick and where are these photos? Cause I was writing, this was when I just started writing about partners of commercial fishermen on the blog. And I decided after my 9 things to know about dating a commercial fisherman, I decided to write a short series about it. Now we have an entire community and a lifestyle blog. And thank you for even being a part of that. I'm so thrilled that it's developed into that. But it was perfect timing because I was like, I'm writing a 3-part series and I'd love to use her photos if she's open to it. But of course, my first reaction was, who is this girl? And I'm so ridiculous. All right. And it ends up being Bree Dwyer of Deadliest Catch, she's married to Sean Dwyer. He's on the show. I guess they're both on the show. I don't watch the show for obvious reasons. I'm not going to like put myself in a situation where my worst nightmares are played out and, Hollywoodified on TV. But, yeah, so I didn't know who Bree was, but I was like, oh, she was so sweet. Yeah, I'd love to share photos. I'm like, great, I'll give you photo credit, blah, blah. And then she just sidemark says, and if you want any insight on dating a fisherman, I definitely have some. And I was like, okay, like that's nice. Oh, maybe she dates a fisherman. So I just Googled her and I was like, oh, it's Bree from Deadliest Catch. She's on a TV show got it. All right, sweet. So I've, love Bree. Love you, Bree. Shout out to you. But that was like 5 years ago. It's funny. But yeah, so the gut reaction was, what the hell? And then she ends up being like, POCF mama. Now they have a sweet little beautiful baby girl. But anyway, yeah, it's, the reactions can be like, jarring. But then it's like, well, why are we feeling this way? Like, why would I feel like Chris would even know? Like, I love our relationship. He loves our relationship. We constantly check in and I'm like, okay, am I happy? That word happy, I don't even know if that's the right word, but how do I feel about certain things? Even with my job, like, how do I feel about my job? How do I feel about being with my family? My health, like what's working here, it's all those little check-ins that we have to do. So female fishermen, we love you. We appreciate all the work you're doing. And man, I want to know how we can help support that, have more of those conversations about what it's like to be a female fisherman. I would love to have a female fisherman on the podcast. Like I said, I'm going to link Emily Ekbaum's, my fisherman's former deckhand, her blog and her Q&A on here, which was so great. She's great. And, but yeah, why don't we need to lean in and be like, what is that shared experience? Like, and what are their partners? Like, I feel like I've met a female fisherman whose partner was not supportive because he felt maybe insecure that she was on a boat with a bunch of dudes. But I'm like, dude, can you imagine being on a boat with a bunch of dudes? Like, gross. A bunch of dudes who probably don't shower because baby wipes are the thing. And we love you, fishermen, but it's grimy work. Yeah, what's their experience like? And why are we excuse me, why are we spiraling? Like, is it warranted? Is it not? If you feel like it is, then look out for you. Like, let's have those conversations with the fishermen. Even if you're feeling like it's not, like, have the conversation when they get back and they're settled. Be like, this season was really hard for me. I was feeling insecure because there was a woman aboard and I love you and I trust you, but for some reason I just couldn't get out of it. And, what is it like? Ask, what is it like on board? They'll be like, I don't know. We just fish and then eat and sleep, and you're like, cool story, bro. Like, I mean, really, but how are you feeling? How are you feeling in your relationship? Why is it triggering for you? Is it warranted? What can you do to help get yourself out of that? Connecting with people in our community is super helpful. Getting in our private group chat is super awesome because we can help you in real time. Anytime you're feeling this coming up, boom, we're there. We also have the private forum. Monthly resources are added that are pertaining to our lifestyle. We have amazing resources in there. And we have the survival guide. I love it. Go from what the fuck to fuck yeah. Valuable tips and advice from POCFs all over the world in various stages of our experience. we're here to help you and to show you that your feelings are valid. You're not alone, and you deserve everything that you want because of the love and the effort that you give into your relationship. So this is all for you. Like, yeah, we're here for our fishermen, but like the Partners of Commercial Fishermen is here for you. What do you want out of your relationship? I love that, having that time away from a fisherman just to have that space to do those evaluations. It's so important because what works for you 10 years ago may not work now, but it doesn't mean that it's can't work again. It doesn't mean that you can't figure out a way that's going to help you both thrive, because that's what it's all about. And if you have a family, having two parents that respect and mutually, listen to each other and love each other, that's what an ultimate gift to give your kids. Learning how to communicate, learning how to be respectful and to show what love is in all the various forms: acts of service, words of affirmation, all the good love languages out there, quality time. What's the other one? Gift giving, I think there's another one, but yeah, we're here for you, partners. Those feelings come up. It sucks. I've been there. So many of us have been there. Some of us are going through it right now, but there are ways out of it. Like I said, you got the tools now. You can, stand up for yourself. You got this, but stand up for yourself in a way that feels that they can hear you in a very controlled, like well thought out way that you've written it down. You're not acting, you're not talking from reacting. You're not just reacting. You're talking from actual like deep thought of, okay, what's going on here? That's how people can hear you. That's how anyone will be able to hear you. And whether or not they, take that information and however they deal with it, that's on their end. But at least you were able to be clear and stand up for yourself in a way that feels good. So to all of our Partners of Commercial Fishermen, you're not alone ever. You're loved and appreciated and valued. And to those female fishermen out there, we totally appreciate and value you. And we hope that you're feeling safe and healthy and supported while you're out at sea, because you definitely deserve that too. And I hope everybody is doing great as always. And with love and POCF pride, you are not alone. And I'd love to hear back if anybody has any comments on this, because this is such a controversial topic. Please email me at support@pocfpride.com or DM me at megan.waldrip on Instagram. I'd love to hear about your experience. I'd love to hear if there's any tips that have helped you in the past, anything that you're going through when it comes to this, because I would love for us to help break this stigma. The last thing that we need to worry about is another woman. Like, we need to think about ourselves. So let's think about ourselves first. That's going to help our relationship. And when you have strong relationship, you don't have anything to worry about, like in that regard, like your partner's there for you. That's why we're called partners, by the way, too, because it's a mutual respect thing. And you deserve the world, girls and partners and everyone listening. We love you. Thank you for being here week after week. And if you want to support this community, we are looking for sponsors to help facilitate this incredible ecosystem that we have. I would love to learn more about your business and what your values are and see if they align. And if they do, I'd love to help get the word out to our community. We are the decision makers of our household. So I'd love to learn new products or different tools that are out there that maybe that would help our families. And yeah, let me know what business you got going on out there. And if you want to support this podcast, I'd love if you could leave a review or hit the subscribe button, because downloads are the way that we can tell that people are listening, and that helps us gain sponsorship. So thank you in advance so much for subscribing or just being here, and you can hang out with us on the blog at POCFpride.com or Instagram at megan.waldrip and on the podcast every week. So much love to you always, and POCF Pride. Till next time. Thank you so much for listening. To support our community, I'd so appreciate it if you'd tap the subscribe button to this podcast or write a review. And if you're a POCF who wants to connect further, Go to POCFpride.com for weekly blogs and to learn about opportunities to join our private communities. We'd love to have you.